There we go. Hello, everybody. I uploaded a video about an hour ago about how I'm going to try to get some mushrooms to grow right out here in this little patch. And I'm going to set it up live because why not? In this tub, I have a ton of cocoa coir, vermiculite, gypsum, just your usual CVG and other substrate nutrients. It was all from monotubs that were contaminated with Trick. So I just put them all in one container, and I'm going to use that pretty much as the substrate for these jars that I'm going to mix in with it and see if I can get any fruit, mushroom fruit. And I got a couple of more tubs over here. I just want to free up these tubs for another grow. These are done, so I'm just going to recycle them as well, along with that other substrate. This tub here, I cut a hole in it and I put microspore tape over the holes so that it could do gas air exchange without me having to like put the lid on it like that, like you see in a ton of YouTube tutorials. I'm not going to use this tub for anything else, so I was like, I'll just freaking put filters on it. And you can also see I have white clover. It's growing in there as well. That actually does seem to help with keeping tubs from getting contaminated, because whenever I initially planted the white clover in this tub, there was green all over the place. The Trick, not the clove, but it cleared up the contamination. So to any new mushroom growers out there, that is a big tip, you know, like a little tip you could use in your own grows. Like plant white clover in the tub with your mushrooms, and I don't know how, I don't know why, but it helps a lot. Got another tub. I'm not sure if this one ever did fruit. Yeah, I don't think it did. You can see there's some mycelium growing, but it just never took off. And this one I was really excited about, but never got anything, but that's fine. I'm recycling it either way, because there's nothing wrong with the substrate. It's the same substrate I use all the time, and I get really bountiful harvest. So I'm pretty sure that wasn't the problem. But maybe it was. I don't know. I use this thing in my garden to till it up or loosen up the soil, and it is like a really good ab exercise. Like, even if you don't have a garden, you might want to get one and just till up the yard, pack it down and retill just for the ab exercise. And I really want to get it integrated into the soil. Like, I don't want my substrate and mycelium cultivation to just be at the surface level. Man, I am always finding new stuff buried in this yard. I bought this house 5 years ago in 2020 when the pandemic was at its height. And I've done a pretty good bit of landscaping and such, but you know, there's always more work. Ugh. This is a hose. Okay, I wonder how many years this has been down there just chilling. I'm on my way back. Sorry to leave you guys like that. I want to do more with this strip of land or yard I got right here, other than just the mushrooms in this little patch, because it's like the perfect spot for a few rows of vegetables. So I plan on doing just that. And I also have a couple of Hawaiian baby wood rose seedlings that are sprouts, and I'm going to transfer them over here. And it's like a vine flower, so I'm going to let it grow along the fence and hopefully just take over the whole yard and everything, because right now I got nightshade invading on everything else I got growing, and it'll kill stuff in my garden if I'm not careful, which I'm not. So it's killed a pretty good bit of stuff in my garden. But the garden out front, that's more for just looks. I want it to be pretty. And the garden that I'm going to try to make out here in the back, it's going to be more utility, like fruits and vegetables. You can see this is a workout. I'm not in the best shape ever, but I'm not in like bad shape. It takes it out of you. Another thing that yards in East Texas have a real problem with is this fungus that grows underneath the soil, and it attaches itself to the roots of lots of different plants, but it targets gardenia and gardenia bushes and something else that's really, really popular in Texas. So the fungus is just everywhere. And it's not like one of those symbiotic funguses that, you know, the trick that contaminates these jars, these ground jars, that is actually not bad for plants out in your garden and your trees and just everything else out in nature. It attaches itself to the roots in the same way that that fungus does, which causes dry rot, and it's supposed to be a barrier to protect it. So I'm getting the trick out of my mushroom farm And I have no problem putting it into my yard, my garden, because it'll actually be beneficial to other things that I want to plant out here. I'm seeing if sometimes if you pull a root up, you can see the fungus that targets gardenia bushes. And I was going to show it to y'all if it was on that one. I was going to see if it was a discontinued drink label to get an idea of how long it's been since anything's been cultivated out here. Oop, just stepped into the hole I just made. Jeez. This root. You can see the fungus that causes dry rot all over it. Those little tendrils, I guess you can call them, coming off of the roots. That is hyphae. That is the network by which mycelium distributes nutrition throughout the fungus body. That's what my YouTube channel and my company name is named after, hyphenation. I'm going to get my tendrils all through the nation. My fungus, the good fungus, not the kind that causes dry rot. And I'm going to put a jar down for now, like empty a jar right there for one layer. I'm gonna do these two toucans in this little bit I got going right here. Let me look at the chat. Yes, please. Thank you, Sparkle, Sparkle, Sparkle. Remember to like and subscribe. And hello to everyone else that's shown up. And I'm having an awesome day, Sparkle. Thanks for asking. I hope you're also having an awesome day. And I should have wore boots, not these freaking running shoes. Oh well. We're already out here. They're already dirty. So what I'm going to use to get all the popcorn and mycelium out is an icing spreader. I'm almost afraid to give it a sniff because usually a non-contaminated jar of grain that you open up that's been collinated, it smells amazing. It smells like earth, you know, in its purest form. I know it's a weird way to describe it, but that's what it smells like, and it's great. But I've had jars that contaminate, and when you open it, it's like sour. It's like, whoa! I'm not too sure how Trick is going to affect it, but let's find out. It's slightly sour. It's not sour like a bacteria infection or contamination like a slime, mold, and those kinds, but it is sour. And I can't really smell that earthly aroma that I oh so love. But that's why it's out here, you know? So everything's going as planned. The hell is that? Is that Coca-Cola? Probably. I cooked the popcorn in the jar, in the pressure cooker at the same time. Like I cooked it and sterilized it at the same time. And it was the first time I had ever done that. So the corn in here is packed in so tight. Like I've never had a grain jar this compressed. But the cooking it in the jar as I sterilize it, it works. This got contaminated because of the syringe I was using. But I learned that you still don't want to do that because the cornstarch, it builds up, or like it detaches from the corn itself and settles at the bottom of the jar, and it can be really thick. And from what I've seen, the mycelium doesn't collinate it, so it's really just a waste of space, and it's probably not good for anything. Like I don't think it's benefiting. And the reason I wanted to cook the corn in the jar at the same time that I sterilize it was as like an efficiency, time saver, streamline the process type thing. But what's it saving me? 30 minutes? It doesn't take that dang long to boil some corn up in a pot. So it was an experiment, just like this is an experiment, and I learned from it, you know. So I'm not going to do that no more. And hopefully this will be successful and I can continue to do this. I'm just checking out the middle of the jar. It doesn't look very good. I probably shouldn't have cooked the corn in the jar as I pressurized it or sterilized it. It collinated. Ew. Why am I not wearing gloves? I'll be just 1 second. Should have some napkins. Okay. You put my freaking gloves on. Okay. Back to work. I use these all the time for the normal grain jars, but this is so compressed that it's not doing a great job. I'm surprised the jar didn't just shatter in the pressure cooker. It's so compressed. Let me check this tool bag over here. I might have something better. Got my little gardening bag. I mean, I can just straight up use a shovel, right? No. Maybe one of these shovels will fit. Nope. Nope. This is part of a light post, but no one said you couldn't fish mycelium out of a jar with it. And if they do, They could talk to me and say it to my face. This is only mildly better. You know what? That's fine. Because I'm going to get the other half of this post stand. There we go. And the mycelium is thick in there. Like, this reminds me of whenever I do grain jars with whole grain rice. It pretty much looks the same, but white, not yellow. Very interesting. Maybe I can refine whatever process you would call this. Cooking and sterilizing at the same time. But probably just stop doing that because it did only save me about 30 minutes of time. I've done a few grows with these jars just because I like them, but every grow I get an additional grain stuck in the tail. You can't get it out. All right, it's one jar. I'm gonna switch over to a horizontal stream. I will resume exactly where I'm leaving off now. But I've never done horizontal. And there's only been one person here the whole time. And they left. So if that number isn't actually 0 and there is someone watching this, catch me in the next one. It'll be in just a little bit. Have a nice day.